You wake up bright and early, look at your phone, and you immediately realize what day it is. It's game day. You're so excited that you get ready and head out the door while forgetting the one thing that's meant to protect your teeth your mouth guard. But you think to yourself, it's no big deal. I'll just be careful. That is, until you get knocked down like our friend number 20 here. Oof. You get up and realize that, oh no, you've chipped your teeth. So, of course, you go to the dentist. But once you're in the chair, you hear them calling out a series of random numbers, and you have no idea what's going on. Never fear, for Ubaida Al-Aani is here, and today we're going to talk about tooth numbering systems, what they are, and how they work. Let's get started. There are several charting methods used to identify teeth. The most common method used in the US is the Universal Numbering System, first adopted by the American Dental Association in 1968. The Universal System made it easier to identify teeth. Rather than having to say maxillary right second molar, a doctor could simply say tooth 2 and be done with it. Before I proceed into an explanation of how this specific system works, there is something that we have to clarify. Humans have two sets of teeth, or two dentitions. We have a primary or deciduous dentition, and they're basically our baby teeth, if you will, and we have 20 of those. And then as we age, the primary dentition is replaced by the permanent or succedaneous dentition, where we have 32 teeth. Okay, now back to the numbering system. When dealing with the universal numbering system, we have to keep in mind the difference between the two dentitions, and this difference is apparent in notation. Let me show you what I mean. Here we have a permanent set of teeth, and you can see there are 32 of them. We start with the third molar in the maxillary right quadrant and move in a clockwise direction until we reach the mandibular right third molar, aka tooth number 32. In the primary dentition, we start with the maxillary right second molar because we don't have a third. And that tooth becomes the letter A rather than number 1, and we move again in a clockwise direction until we reach the mandibular right second molar, which is the letter T. Another method for numbering teeth is the Fédération Dentaire Internationale, or FDI system. It is widely used in Europe and is a 2-digit code that identifies the tooth and the quadrant that it's in. When it comes to the permanent dentition, the FDI has 4 quadrants, numbered 1 through 4, starting with the maxillary right quadrant, known as quadrant 1, and moving in a clockwise rotation. For the teeth specifically, we count down from 8, starting with the third molar of the respective quadrant. For example, in quadrant 1, the third molar is tooth 8, the second molar is tooth 7, and so on, until we reach the central incisor, or tooth number 1 in quadrant 1, aka tooth 11. The first number describes its quadrant 1, and the second number describes the tooth 1, central incisor. In the primary dentition, the maxillary right quadrant is quadrant 5. And again, we go in a clockwise direction when numbering quadrants, where the maxillary left is quadrant 6, and then quadrant 7 and 8 as we move on to the mandibular region. In this photo, the numbers are in Roman numerals, but they mean the same thing. Okay. Now, when it comes to numbering the teeth, things are a little different, but they maintain the same essential structure, where we start at the very back, and as we move to the central incisors, the number decreases. So here in the second molar, we have its tooth number 5, and then 4, 3, 2, 1, 1 being the central incisor. Numbering systems like the Universal and FDI have been used and continue to be used in order to streamline processes like charting conditions and creating patient notes. Dentists and anyone in the field of dentistry for that matter must be familiar with these numbering systems in order to succeed and operate in the field. Okay, now it's time for a quick conclusion. There are 2 main numbering systems, the Universal system and the FDI system. The Universal system uses letters A through T for the primary teeth and numbers 1 through 32 for the permanent teeth, starting with the maxillary right third molar and moving clockwise, as we've seen. The FDI system, on the other hand, uses quadrant numbers and tooth numbers to identify teeth. Quadrants 1 through 4 are for the permanent dentition, with teeth numbered 1 through 8, while quadrants 5 through 8 are for the primary dentition, with teeth numbered 1 through 5. Here are the sources that I used in my research. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed and learned a thing or two.